Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk here on Shelbyville. Now, I'm Bo. This
Hey,
is
Bo.
Bo.
How you
I'm
doing,
David.
Bo?
See, I got ahead of myself and got twisted up. Don't
Bo
even know
Gill,
my
David
name.
Thomas. Nice to see y'all.
Yeah. We're going to talk about all the events that took place this weekend. When we left
Oh,
Friday,
man.
Bo, we were talking about what's going to happen next. And I think we kind of predicted something was going to happen on Saturday, and he did. But before we dive into it, we're going to hear from our sponsor, Norris Plumbing, from here in Shelbyville.
24-hour service.
24-hour service, and we'll be right back after we hear from them.
Norris Plumbing, your go-to source for licensed and insured plumbing services. Emergency services when you need it. Norris Plumbing. Call us at 931-703-5915.
I think you can do it.
Alrighty, welcome back in here to Real Talk. Bo, Friday when we sat down, or was it Thursday maybe? Thursday we sat down. We were talking about, how, Trump's going to strike back and we're going to take out this nuclear facility.
He had 2
probably
weeks.
Over the weekend. He said up to 2 weeks.
Up to 2 weeks.
And I think we predicted that he would do it this weekend.
Yeah, you did.
All right, so it happened, but it's interesting that 5 days before the attack, there were trucks, and we have satellite images to prove it. There were trucks lined up at the facility loading up stuff. Getting stuff out of it. All right.
Stuff maybe that starts with a U.
Maybe some uranium got moved.
That's what I'm hearing.
So that tells me that they had a heads up about what was coming. And that means something when we talk about what's happened today.
It does.
All right. So we go in. It turns out with 14 of these 30,000-pound bombs.
Big boys.
And made a great big old hole in the ground.
Big old hole in the ground. And it was
left a little dust.
Left a lot of dust. There were some videos coming right at the outset of that I'm like, oh, surely not. They don't have videos already, because you don't know what to believe. But they made it a big bang there, and nobody was killed.
We hadn't heard of anything. Sure. They had plenty of time. They knew it was coming.
Yes.
The coffee machine was moved out too, I'm sure.
I think yes.
There was nobody there. The little silos, ventilation things is where they went through with the bombs. If we use 14 on that spot, I don't think there's anything left of it, Bo.
There's not. And I hope that but I'm afraid that the mission that we went for wasn't accomplished. I think it was more of a show piece, maybe.
It was accomplished. All right, let's look at what's happened. But fast forward to today. Iran had to respond. Trump said they're going to respond. He knew they were going to respond. Yeah. But they called and said
they're going to respond.
We're fixing to respond, and you need to get your people out.
Yes.
And they sent 6 missiles. Okay. Yeah. They said they sent more than that. And there's reports they sent more than that. But every one of them were shot down except for one. And it was left. It just kind of flew out into the desert.
Well, they said, just let that one fly.
Let that slide. It's not going to hit anything.
Yeah. So
we took them down. Iran gave us a heads up so it wouldn't kill anybody or hurt anything. Nothing was hurt. Nobody was killed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then Donald Trump comes out, and I'm going to read his post. This came out about, an hour or so ago, if I can find it here. And he basically summed up where we are in this war, okay? Mm-hmm. It says, Iran has officially responded to our obliteration of their nuclear facilities with a very weak response, which we expected, and have very effectively countered. Okay, here he says, there have been 14 missiles fired. 13 were knocked down and one was set free because it was headed into a non-threatening direction. I am pleased to report that no Americans were harmed and hardly any damage was done. Most importantly, they've gotten it all out of their system, and there will be, hopefully, no further hate. I want to thank Iran for giving us early notice, which made it possible for no lives to be lost and nobody to be injured. Perhaps Iran can now proceed to peace and harmony in the region, and I will enthusiastically encourage Israel to do the same. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Donald J. Trump. That's his post. And one thing is very important to understand. I want to thank Iran for giving us early notice. which made it possible for no lives to be lost. Does that sound like war to you?
No, that is the wars that I've heard of that happened before I was born. A lot of those, and the ones that have happened since I've been born, mass casualties. They aim for where the people are. They don't. Necessarily clear the targets like we have heard is happening in this situation. And you know what? Excuse me. For governments fighting each other or in some type of conflict, that's okay. That officially we can bomb a vacant site. But what really bothers me is these these lone wolves, these people that are in America now that are waiting. Their sleeper cells waiting to strike.
Okay,
and I'm afraid that they will say, okay, Donald, you don't think that they respond? We're going to respond independently.
Okay. But do you think the way Iran did this really activated them? They called ahead of time and let us know what do you think a sleeper cell is going to think about their home country if they're really over here? What are they going to think? They just y'all left us hanging?
Yeah, I think they will. And then there's a lot of times.
Who knows what they're going to do?
A lot of times they're so I don't know what you call it,
radical.
They're so radicalized that doesn't matter about that. It matters what their God is telling them and what their job is to do. Look, this right here is not over, and I'm afraid that all this. And I love Donald Trump, and I love the strategy that we're doing. I'm glad that there's not people getting hurt, but I'm afraid that this could escalate to a type of personal type lone wolf attack.
Right.
These people, they react with terrorism. They are terrorists. And that's something we've all got to be really watchful of right now, especially. Let's not forget, there were over 1,000, they've said, Iranians that were let into this country illegally that are still here, that they don't know where they're at.
Yeah, and we don't know what they're doing.
And they might be great people, and they may not.
They might have been just trying to escape Iran.
That's right.
Who knows, Bo? We don't know. Here's the sad part about it. I've listened to the left news media. I've listened to the ones that are supposed to be in the center. I've listened to those that are supposed to be on the right, and they none of them are telling the truth. They're tilting it the way they want to. You look at the way Iran is reporting the news. You look at the way Israel's reporting the news. They won't allow none of them will allow foreign reporters in. No, and they're shutting down their internet, so we can't really find out. Yes. But some of it's sneaking through.
Yeah, it is. And it's going to. There's always a way to sneak through. But that right there is a Marxist, fascist type regime where you don't allow freedom of speech to happen. Now, I understand in war in certain times there has to be, but when you've got a coalition of different countries, I think we, the people, need to know, because we've got some of our forces there, but we don't know what to believe.
Here's my question: how bad has Israel been hurt? They went over and started bombing, and Iran has been shooting missiles back. They hadn't been flying jets over. Okay, so they've been responding to everything that Israel's doing.
Yes,
and they've tore up a whole bunch of buildings.
They have.
My question is, I wonder if they're giving those people a heads up so that they don't kill a lot of people, but they're just tearing stuff up and shooting missiles.
Yeah, I don't know. They probably are giving some type of heads up if it's playing out like it has currently, but there are people still dying. There's still people dying.
There's a whole lot more Iran that's died than there have in Israel.
And regardless of what side you're on, here's the facts. Israel kind of shot the first one in this instance.
So here's my: are we really at war?
Well, I don't think we are at war. We're helping, but I believe that there is a constant war in the Middle East that it will never be resolved, and that it's on a personal level. I think that we should, keep our eye on it. But no, I don't think we're at war. I don't think we're at world war at the moment. But there's a lot of rhetoric out there. But war is when people, you don't call the other person and say,
that's not war.
That's not
war. Is you're trying to be sneaky.
Now, right now, though, what's next?
Here's what's next, in my opinion. This is my prediction. Okay. A lot of people made a lot of money off of what took place today, Bo. If you will look at the stock market indexes, NASDAQ, the Dow, S&P 500, you look at all those charts, look at the timing of when the stock market dropped in the middle of the day and when it bounced back, and time it with the way the news was coming out, you'll see real quick there's some people that knew what was going on beforehand.
They're saying,
and there's some people that made a lot of money today off of this one little flurry of missiles that didn't do anything.
So they're saying that there was no leak to jeopardize security. So there was no leak. Maybe there wasn't overseas, but in here,
this thing
inside,
had leaks everywhere, Bo.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: we knew it was coming.
Yeah, we did.
And President Trump thanked them for letting us know.
So yeah, I mean, I see that. They say follow the money. I mean, it's obvious. You showed it before the show of how that it bottomed out and then it recovered, went down a little bit. The people rebought and then sold. Now it's higher than it started.
This whole thing is a scam. Okay, and Trump has come out politically on the top side of the scam in the way I see it. This goes back to in 2020 when we killed that Hezbollah terrorist in Syria.
Mm-hmm.
When we did it, Iran said, we're going to shoot some missiles over there, but we're not going to hit anything. Just let them go.
Yeah.
But we got to look strong.
Mm-hmm.
I think they wanted the guy gone anyway.
Yes.
Sorry. So, all right. They got rid of him. We killed the guy, assassinated him, took him out. They shot some missiles over. We didn't respond. Same thing's happening here. We're not going to respond unless Iran does something sideways here.
Right. Which they could do.
I don't think they will.
They could.
Because we showed them on their own turf what we can do with our bombs. Yeah.
Israel is the one that I'm worried about.
Israel is right now, they're ruthless.
They are.
Okay. Now, Trump has got to get Netanyahu to back down and say, look, we got rid of your facility. Okay. Even though we probably didn't get rid of uranium. We got rid of the facility, and that set them way back.
Yeah.
And y'all got to call off the dogs fast because we're going to get a deal done now.
Yeah.
Trump is about deals. We know that.
Yeah, we do.
All right, so he's fixing to try to get a deal done. The question is, who's going to negotiate it? I hope it's not Putin. I mean, Putin's over here blowing up Ukraine, and he's offered to help.
Yeah.
We don't need Putin's help. How about we get somebody like the Crown Prince of Jordan or somebody from the Saudis, somebody that's in the area that has a concern and don't want to see nuclear weapons.
That's right. That's what they need because, there are nuclear weapons.
Israel's loaded with them.
Yeah, they're loaded with them. And Iran, the little bomber boy in North Korea has already said.
Little Rocket Man.
We're not calling him bomber boy.
Little Rocket Man.
He says, hey, I got missiles for you.
So. Yeah, he's trying to give them away. But you know what? Iran has not taken them that we know of. We know of.
That we know of. So, I mean, and would we know if they did? I mean.
Probably.
I don't know.
Probably.
I would hope so, but I mean,
you start exchanging missiles, it's hard to hide from intelligence satellites.
Yeah, Yeah, that's true.
So that's true. You don't know, and you don't know what to believe. So.
Bottom line is here, though, here at the home front, on the homeland of America, is that it is concerning though because of this of saying we got them, we did bomb them, but let's just shut up a little bit because things are still volatile. And there's people that could activate crazy. So, I mean, I would say everybody needs to stay vigilant, just aware of your surroundings and things. I mean, but, don't act crazy. But I just feel that other people are going to take this different. And the crazy, lunatic that's.
Connie made a statement here. Don't forget Israel is God's chosen and they will be fine. Here's the thing about that. They are, the nation of Israel is. But I worry about the government of Israel right now and who's in charge because we've seen throughout history, biblical history, that bad kings got in charge and they ended up in a mess. God took them out. But the children of Israel kept on. So
that's
for the people of Israel, I feel sorry.
I do.
For them being brought down this path, whether it be right or wrong, who knows? Yeah. It's not for us to decide.
Well, let's remember that the evil spirit of the air is still reigning on this earth and in Israel just as well as we know that he won't dominate. But the evil one's out there. And look, there's been some pretty bad atrocities committed by Israel recently.
You got this... this convoy of food coming in.
Yeah.
And it was like an ambush. There's videos of it.
It was sad.
And they got the aid in and these big trucks were coming in, giving out food to the Palestinians and tanks opened up fire, killed 60 something people.
No, those were
that
hungry
was like
people.
Last week.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, there's, she's right though. But the leadership,
but the people's one thing. Yeah. The government is another.
That's right. And that's what we've got here is governments.
And that's what we got.
Yes.
Our government is at war with another government, or not at war, but our government shooting missiles at another government.
That's right.
The people, if we 95% of people in this world, they want peace and they want to live their lives.
They do.
But for some reason, governments create havoc.
Governments create havoc.
They stoke the hatred between the Palestinians and the Israelites.
That's
I call
right.
them Israelis.
But that's right.
And also Iran and Israel. Other Muslim countries right now are at peace with Israel. You look at Jordan, you look at the Saudis,
yes,
Qatar, you look at other, Egypt, you look at other Muslim countries, they're at peace as much as can be expected between the two differences. But for something, it's our governments, man. They're all
the governments, and then the leadership of Iran has just been, I know the people there, majority want peace, but maybe they don't, but the government sure don't. But we'll see. It's time now to come to the tables and hopefully negotiate something, because it can only get worse. I mean, right now they're bombing, they say, vacant or not unpopulated areas. I mean, it could be really quick till they start bombing populated areas. I mean, who knows what could happen tonight?
Well, here's my thought, and I'm gonna let you share your thought before we get off here. I feel like that Trump, his biggest challenge right now is not Iran or working a deal out. His biggest problem is Netanyahu.
Yeah,
getting him back to holster his weapons and calm things down.
Yes, and
focus on his own country right now, because he's got a lot of rebuilding to do. Man, there's buildings that's been collapsed.
Oh, he has.
If they hadn't had near the casualties that Iran has, Iran's got to rebuild their country after a week.
Yes,
it's just where we sit.
That's right.
I think Trump's biggest problem is not working out a deal with Iran, but to get Netanyahu to back down and accept a plan.
Yeah, and
that's my thought.
And I agree with that. I think that this would be the prime time for Netanyahu, if he really wants peace, to go for peace. And he may not get everything he wants in negotiations, but nobody does. That's why they're called negotiations. I think the worst thing he could do to stoke the fire would be to keep retaliating and shooting missiles. This is going to have an effect on everybody. But I do agree with that.
The first thing Trump's got to do is call for a ceasefire.
Yeah.
He's got to call for a ceasefire, because none of the other two are going to.
No, they're not. They're not. He has to.
It's like the adult. He's got to be the adult in the room here. Right. After they did their charade here, and it's okay. Now, are you happy? We blew that up. And Iran, y'all fired at us. Are you happy? I mean, this is like all negotiating stuff.
It is. It would be good to have a summit, though, of the peaceful leaders, like you said, to come together and say, look, we all live around here. We want peace. I know, Germany's trying to help. We need everybody's help. But, one thing I wanted to mention, just to change it a little bit local on the topic, the real estate market, there's been recently today some drops going on. Just wanted to mention that. That I know a $10,000 drops on some of these newer houses, so they're still slowly coming down here.
Another thing today, just to realize what took place in the market, interest rates have gone up. They're going up. They were going up in the middle of all this. I don't know where they ended today.
I don't know where they are either.
But it's fluctuated a little bit, and I think just the fear of the unknown has created people. I need to get rid of this house now.
Yeah, I think so. That people have got some house payments that are really high. I think that the market, I mean, the way as far as the existing and sales, as far as what the history shows, it's still healthy. But I'm just wanting to share that there are some reductions just today that I was shared with right before we came live.
Okay, let me bring one other thing up and we'll get out of here. But the price of oil. Yesterday at 5 o'clock, when futures started trading at 5 o'clock Central Time, it opened up at like just a little over $77. And as soon as it opened, I expected it to take off because of the Strait of Hormuz, all this tension. That Iran's thinking about bombing us and maybe setting some oil fields on fire and all that stuff. That should have sent the price of fuel, of crude oil, through the roof. Today, Bo, I'm looking at this chart right now. It went up. Let's see, that's a 6-month chart. Okay, let's go back to the daily chart here. At 10 a.m. this morning, it was
high.
Well, it dropped.
It's a lot lower than it was.
It's a whole lot lower. I think it closes around the 67, 68 range. It dropped $10.
Wow.
Somebody got rich.
So how will we see any effects of that?
We should, but I doubt it.
Maybe
around here, who knows?
Maybe
man.
on a Monday, or on a Friday. It's the end of the week.
That should put
end of the week.
67 should put us back in the 350 range, legitimately.
Yeah.
345 to 350, but who knows?
Well,
you just don't know around here.
No, you don't.
But that's interesting the way this chart played out today on oil. It dropped, and it started dropping out of the gate yesterday. And it kept dropping. It didn't make any sense whatsoever, Bo.
People are manipulating this system. I mean, this is obvious here. I mean, is anybody else going to call this out? I mean, I know we're focused on the security and the missiles and everything, but there is some, it seems that there's like financial, I don't know, that there's a lot of collusion or something happening in the markets right now. Somebody made billions today.
Yeah, Brandon, I see what you're saying there. The only problem is, it's not a problem. The only thing I would look at, they've been calling death to America, and they had an opportunity to do it today.
Yeah, well,
I think it's all rhetoric, and posturing in the Arab world.
It is. I mean, but the thing is that people here will take it serious. There are groups here that will take it serious. I'm afraid,
and they could attack.
They could act, and it may not be today or tomorrow or next week or any time, and we don't know. That's why we have to stay vigilant. Now, there are peaceful people that practice that religion here. Let's not get things confused.
Yeah. There's radicals in everything,
but we have to stay vigilant. I mean, this is our country, and they may interpret this situation a lot different.
Hey, I didn't say anything about nuclear weapons. I assumed that we just blew up their facility of where they were making it. Now, we let them get out the uranium, and who knows where they took it.
Yep, and
that's a question to be asking. What happened to the uranium?
But they are able to have some uranium for electric or for power. They're supposed to be using it to have nuclear power, I believe, somehow.
We will never know the truth. All we're going to hear, whatever news channel you listen to, they're lying. Okay, we don't know because I don't think they know what to say, so they just go with whatever's set in front of them.
And what I can do is just interpret what I see from every single avenue that I look for my information, and then my gut feeling usually,
But
you go with the
Bo,
gut,
here's the thing
follow
about
the
it.
money.
We have enough problems with this country right now to focus our attention on this and get this done. Whatever it is. Kick the can down the road for 5 years. Keep an eye on them. Make inspectors go in there. But we can't be the world's police because we're coming unglued here.
We are. And I mean, this right here.
This tariff deal is fixing to destroy us. Yeah. And Trump's got to get he's got to get focused back on that because found out today, not to go on to the tariff thing, but China is pulling some shenanigans behind their back on the tariff. The rare earth stuff, they put a halt on it. And that was part of the deal. So here we go.
So here we are. So he's dealing with the war. Now he's got the tariff trade war going on. Look, you're exactly right though. We've got to take care of right here. Yeah. We don't lose the focus there. I mean, if they want to, blow each other up, then I mean you can't save them from that.
Hey, Trump can walk and chew gum at the same time.
Yeah.
I think we've seen that.
Yeah, he can. I'm not
this tariff thing. We got to get it fixed because if we stay on the trajectory we're on right now, this October, September, October, November, going into Christmas, it's going to be rough.
Yeah, and just
prices wise,
and just the uncertainty right now. There's still a lot of uncertainty. It causes speculation and speculation.
Steve, you're correct. They hauled out of there enough to make a nuclear, a dirty bomb.
Yeah, that's not good. I mean, you don't let them.
Steve, let me tell you about the tariffs, buddy. I'm getting hammered with them. Our prices are going through the roof. I don't know what anybody else is dealing with, but I can tell you right now, we're writing checks personally.
You're having to pay the tariff right out the back door.
I mean, I don't know what else to do but go up through the roof. And I'm not talking about 10%. We're talking 30, 40, 50% price increase.
Well, you're not in business to lose money.
Don't disagree. I understand you disagree with he knowing what he's doing. He's got to do it fast because right now we're getting hammered.
Yeah.
Okay.
A deal needs to be made.
Yeah. We got to get. And I mean, rumor is he's thinking about putting a pause on everything on that because he sees it coming. He's had so many people business wise knocking on his doors. It's like, man, we're fixing to have to go through the roof.
So when you say pause on everything, you mean go back to the
everything. That's a rumor. I don't know. We'll see.
Who knows? We'll keep an eye on it.
The material, We let them haul that material out of there.
I mean, this ain't no news report. This is coming from the back door of the business where you have to buy.
Oh yeah, but back on this uranium, we let Iran take the uranium out the door. We've got it on satellite. 5 days before, the trucks were in there. You think they were taking the coffee pot away? Okay, there was trucks lined up, and they were getting all this stuff out of there.
Yeah,
they knew it was coming. We told them it's coming.
I mean, there's no. I don't know how you'd know specifically, but that's what it would lead me to believe. You're right. I mean, they're not saying, "Hey, we let the uranium," but I mean, when you see somebody hauling that much stuff out of a bunker, you just come to a conclusion that that's probably a good possibility.
All right, Steve, I trust Trump's agenda. I voted for him, and I'd vote for him again, but he's fixing to tank our economy if these tariffs stay in place, because you can't go and build a factory and start producing some of this stuff in the United States. It'll never be produced in the United States again. It's just a fact. But can we negotiate and get to 10% reciprocal across the board?
I think that there's some way to negotiate and to be able to build our infrastructure, our steel mills and everything here where we can be some type of sufficient. Because right now we're not. I mean, there's little ones here and there, but we're getting all of our stuff from overseas.
I wish I had my bills. I would put them on camera and show you what we're paying in tariffs. Yeah. Okay,
and I've seen you've showed how you've tried to get stuff here.
There ain't no way to get it here.
I mean, you're
I've
in business.
Told the story. I would swear on the Bible. Okay, we can't get some of this stuff. Most of it we can't get here. Okay,
right. I mean, you've tried to get some of this stuff made here, and you would have to go out of business.
It's a joke. Well, they can't. They won't even make it. And by the way, Buck Knives just sent me an email Saturday telling me they're going to go up 13% on everything from China starting August 1st, and then in October, get ready. It's going to be hammer time. So if they continue to get knives from China, now they make a lot in the U.S. They're not going up on that stuff. Not yet. Not till those steel tariffs hit them. Right now, they're still in the window of having supply. But when they start having to pay 25% tariff on the steel, the U.S. stuff is going to go up. So, it's just a fact. Okay? It's just a fact.
Yeah, I know
it's the numbers.
And we're starting to feel it. I mean, I went to Walmart this weekend, and I thought I had, $45 worth of stuff. It was like $100 and something.
I know. I mean, if
every
you don't see this happening, you're just blind to it because you got to pay attention to your prices.
Too much money.
I have to watch my prices. I mean, when I go in and buy something, like now, I'm like walking past and leaving a lot of stuff on the shelf.
I'm looking for clearance items.
I saw a 7-pound bag of charcoal the other day cost $18. Okay, that's made in America, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Is it?
It's supposed to be.
The bag probably may not be. I don't know.
We ain't bailing on Trump, Steve.
No,
but the tariff thing. Here's the thing.
Here's the thing. Everybody's got to understand is you can be a critic of somebody and still agree with everything.
Here's the difference.
I agree with most of the
Here's the difference between us and the Democrat Party. Republicans, some of them are free thinkers.
Yes,
and they know what's going on and they live it. Okay, the Democrats are programmed to go along with the narrative.
Yes,
the Republicans, thank God. There's a discussion, an honest discussion taking place about what's actually taking place.
Right.
That's why we lose some elections because everybody's not programmed.
Yeah, you can't be programmed in like Trump, no matter what he does. I mean, it's okay to criticize him. I agree with most of the things he does, but some things maybe I don't. And he might be right, but I don't see it that way.
All I do is see what's happening today and what's reality.
That's all I can see. But no, Donald Trump has done a wonderful job for this country. I voted for him. I'd vote for him again if I could. And but on this tariff deal, look, I don't like paying more money. And it just
I mean, it's going to send us into not a recession per se. It's going to be worse than a recession, but not a depression. It's going to be one of those things where you some of the jobs are going to go away because if you decrease the amount of products that we sell, you're going to have you're going to drop off. Trucking's going to stop. Clerks are not going to be needed. Warehouse handlers. If you start decreasing, and if people are going to decrease their buying, their purchasing, because they're not going to pay $500 for a TV set that was $250, 3 months ago.
Yeah.
They're just not. They're going to say, "Oh, I don't know." It's just economics because our paychecks are not going up as fast as these prices.
And
are
I'd
going
rather
up.
eat than
So that's the way it is.
we're going to have to do without some of our stuff.
And there's small businesses right now trying to figure out what they're going to do next.
Yeah, it's
do we order today and then pay a 55% tariff? And it's the businesses that are having to determine this. Okay,
that's right.
I can't eat it.
No,
our margin's not that. Our profit margin is not enough. You got to pass it on.
You pass it on, and you can't eat it.
And that's what Walmart's. Walmart's having to do the same thing. You start looking at it; their prices are going to start going up.
They have.
They already have. Hit and miss. Yeah. If you could go back 3 months ago and look at a toaster, and look at what it is now, or look at a piece of electronic equipment and what it is now, that supply is starting to hit the shelves. The tariffed supplies are.
Yes,
so
sir, it is.
It's where it is. So
it is. I mean,
I don't want anybody to not pay attention.
Yeah,
people need to pay attention.
I don't want people to be blinded to a person. This is a country. We're all in it together. We're United States of America.
Brandon Taylor, he really thinks that Trump needs a third term. Well, you want to see.
I love Brandon Taylor.
You want to see Rachel Maddow have a conniption fit and stroke out on TV. That would do it right there. Which that's not a bad. Oh, never mind. I didn't say that.
Hey,
have you heard about The View?
Oh, yeah.
Bill Maher comes out and says The View needs to be taken off the air.
Oh, is that breaking news, huh? Yeah,
well,
Whoopi just needs to stick with Sister Act. I remember that movie, and that's about all I can do of Whoopi.
And Doc Dunn, he said the word correct, reset. Okay, we're having a financial reset, and a lot of people are going to go broke.
Yeah, there will be, and it's scary times. We're having a financial reset, and we need a reset in the Middle East too. We need the world to have a big reset. What do you say about that? But
that's
you're
the
right.
pain that Trump is talking about. But he's not going to tell us what the pain is.
We talked about this before.
The pain is some people going to be in bad shape.
Yeah,
they're going to lose their homes. All these overextended people, these people that's got all these student loans, they're going to start garnishing their paychecks.
Yeah, and then
if they don't make payments, there's people already feeling this. Look at TikTok. Some of these videos, people are losing their homes right now because they overextended. They bought a $90,000 pickup truck and have a $1,400 a month pickup truck payment.
Yeah,
and can't afford it.
When times are good, they should have saved it and they spent it, and that's scary. And look, it's going to happen soon. There's something like that, and I hope and pray that Trump can come to some type of solution where it doesn't hurt that bad.
Yep. All right. We're going to get out of here. I'm anxious to see how Trump negotiates this. It's going to happen. Netanyahu is his problem.
Yeah.
The guy with the beard in Iran's a problem.
Are they going to shave that beard for him?
That's going to be part of the deal.
Shave the beard.
The Ayatollah Khomeini has to shave his beard off publicly.
Yeah.
If he's still alive.
No, yeah. Well,
who knows if he's still alive?
If he was in that bunker, he ain't alive.
All right, we're going to get out of here.
Yeah, we'll be back.
It's been fun.
Week.
We're going to disagree on some things, but we're going to have fun doing it. Y'all have a good day. We'll see you maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, mate, whenever. It'll be.
But we'll be back.
We'll be back, so y'all stay tuned.
Thanks for watching. And